And today I'm also going to talk a little bit about Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, colitis, a lot of different itis out there. Itis means that there's some type of inflammation that is taking place. We want to educate ourselves on the possible root causes. We may be experiencing this, that, and the third. I wanted to share with you what has worked for me over the last couple of years. So before we even begin, I wanted to share a little bit about the digestive system. Taking a quick look at this picture is much more clear, because most people, they might go through some human physiology book, look at different books online, and they see this system, and it's very complicated. When you first start looking at this, it may be very intimidating. I'm telling people, if you want to take a quick look, a quick glance at the digestive system, just look at this as a very long piece of pipework. They call this the alimentary canal or the food canal. So food enters your mouth, down the pharynx, into your esophagus, and it's going to go into your stomach. In your stomach, it produces the digestive enzymes to break down the food. Food enters your small intestines next. This is where nutrient absorption takes place. And this pipework is 4.5 meters, followed by the large intestine, which is 1.5 meters, before everything gets released out the back for elimination. Just giving a little bit of perspective. So one more time, the small intestine is 4.5 meters, which is about 15 feet, some change. The large intestine is 1.5 meters, another 5 feet in length. So together, this pipework, small and large intestines combined, is 20 feet or 6 meters total. From the floor to that basketball rim is 10 feet off the floor. Okay, so if I had to take a photo of that basketball, I don't think I have it on this PowerPoint slide. If you ever play basketball, from the floor to that hoop is 10 feet off the floor, or roughly 3 meters. So the combined length with the small and large intestines is equal to 2 NBA hoops. You got to think about that. So you got one NBA hoop and another one. So the entire length of that is your small and large intestines combined. Now, people are dealing with chronic constipation all over the world. Now, especially myself, I dealt with chronic constipation basically throughout my 30s. I had to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. Most people are dealing with the picture on the left. They don't know how to get this waste material out of their body. As a result, they may experience a lot of problems, when they're trying to get their poop to exit, they're forcing it. Now they have hemorrhoids, and over time, they have some type of prolapse that could take place. They may get anal fissures, okay? A lot of problems happening right here, this junction right here. Today we're going to talk about a lot of different problems that can happen to your digestive tract. A lot of inflammation that can also take place when we don't get that waste material out of the body. Now, when elimination is incomplete, residues of old feces can build up in layers on the walls of the colon as they putrefy, which means decay and rot. They can cause health problems, pain, and discomfort. Now, I know a little bit about SEO, online marketing, keyword analysis. So before we start to target a product or something that we want to sell, we like to see if there's demand for it. Constipation. This keyword is basically undefeated. What I mean by that is it has never contracted. It always expands. The number of people who are looking for constipation relief online continues to grow year over year. I don't care if they're keying it in the English language, Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Arabic, Portuguese. I do not care. People are keying in constipation all over the world. And there doesn't seem to be any real good solution that is out there to fix this from my own research. There are entire Facebook pages that you can look up, constipation relief, and you go to these private Facebook groups and you're looking at the pain people are sharing with the online world. They're dealing with a whole bunch of chronic constipation over the years. And the doctors, they prescribe medications, maybe herbal blends, tell them to eat more fiber, and they may get some temporary relief in the short term. But it always comes back, always comes back. Today I'm going to talk about problems that you will face if you have chronic constipation and how to resolve this issue. Of course, none of this professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You got to find what works for you. And I continue to clean out both the small and large intestines in the comfort of my own home, which I'll discuss. Now, when we're dealing with chronic constipation, you may have all sorts of other problems. For example, this is called toxic megacolon. Basically, the waste material is not exiting out of the body. So let me just read this right here. Toxic megacolon is a life-threatening complication of inflammatory bowel diseases. These diseases can be painful and cause permanent damage to the large and small intestines. Okay, irritable bowel diseases include ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and infections caused by, I can't even pronounce that. Toxic megacolon is characterized by swelling and dilation of large intestine due to the inflammation and accumulation of large amount of gas. It's more than gas, my boy. This is just trash that has been accumulated. This is the human colon. This is not from out of an animal or something. People are experiencing this, and sometimes people have that very, very much bulging stomach. Okay, and on top of that, they have a huge layer of fat over it, and they can't get their waste material out of them. If you have any type of chronic constipation, even if it's a minor one, you need to begin to fix it right away. Some people, they leave that problem, okay, a 2-day constipation, maybe go into a 3-day, into a 4-day. Some people may be a whole weekend without having a bowel movement. I'm not talking about urination, I'm talking about bowel movement. Taking a quick look at your colon, it should be in this shape, okay? This is the ascending portion, transverse, and the descending portion. Here's a photo of somebody in Taiwan. This lady was only 23 years old, suffering from chronic constipation for a long time. You can see her colon is now displaced. So right here, it comes up here, and then it comes down here into this loop, and now it pushes back up. Now this stuff is like in her lungs. Do you guys understand? So when your colon it's full of trash, it starts to push around your other organs, which is going to cause a lot of discomfort all over the body. Now, this is something called diverticulitis. This is also very common all over the world. It occurs when pouches called diverticula start to form in the GI tract and become inflamed and infected. This condition commonly occurs in the Western population and can be seen in 10% of people over the age of 40 and 50% of people over 60. That's a lot of people. So I'm talking about a lot of boomers, baby boomers, that were born, in the 40s and 50s. They have this. The rate of this disease typically increases with age. Scientists believe that this condition is due to not eating enough fibers. Not eating enough fiber leads to constipation, which puts extra pressure on the colon walls. And to zoom in a little bit, so this is this pockets inflammation, okay? And that's going to cause all sorts of other problems. What other problems could you possibly have? You got ulcerative colitis. Over here, what is ulcerative colitis? It's a chronic condition that happens when you have inflammation in your colon. Most people with UC experience periods of symptom flare-up, followed by periods of remission without symptoms. What are some of the symptoms? Diarrhea, bloody stools, abdominal cramping, and weight loss. Treatments include medication and surgery. What do they usually use? You got corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, and biologics. Okay, so a lot of these drugs, what they do, they suppress the inflammatory response and to temporarily make the symptoms go away. What else do we have here? We got Crohn's disease, another gastrointestinal disease, another form IBD. Now this is primarily inflammation in the small intestine and colon. Let me get a little bit of water here. What are the main symptoms? Diarrhea, stomach cramps and aches, blood in the stool, tiredness or fatigue, and weight loss. It is thought to believe Crohn's disease caused due to genes, a problem in the immune system, smoking, a previous stomach bug. Okay. So you guys can kind of understand there is a lot of problems that could occur if you don't take care of just a minor constipation problem issue that you have. Maybe in your 20s right now, watching this video, I don't care how old you are, maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're 18, 19 years old, and this is not professional medical advice, but you gotta take this, the lack of bowel movement as a very serious problem, and you gotta do whatever you can, in a natural way, preferably, because I've already gone through the Facebook pages. You guys can go look at them yourself. There are tens of thousands in these pages, and every single day they're just posting their constipation woes. They're so worried about eating because what if they cannot poop it out? If you're taking notes watching this video, I want you guys to write this down. What goes through your mouth must exit out the back end. It doesn't just disappear. It's not like magic. If you're now having this 1-to-1 ratio of what you're putting down through your mouth, okay, whatever you're eating, the vegetables, the fruits, the carbohydrates, your proteins, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, and you're just sitting on that toilet, huffing and puffing. You are begging and pleading for more to come out. You're doing that twist and shout. Okay, you're taking a lot of different laxatives, and eventually they stop working. Well, you got to find a way. Now, one of the ways that you could look into is colon hydrotherapy. I haven't tried this, and you got to talk to an experienced colon hydrotherapist because there is a risk if you use this. There is a risk to everything. There's a risk if you do this protocol. There's another risk if you use my protocol, which I'll discuss later. And there's a risk if you do nothing, because your future, it is not bright. This basically means more trash is going to get trapped inside your colon. You may end up with a megacolon. You may have a colon that is severely displaced. You may get diverticulitis, inflammation in your colon. You may get Crohn's disease, which is inflammation in the small and large intestines. I was watching this comedian, and she was talking about, I forgot her name, maybe Kelsey Cook, remember correctly. So she was married, and then she has IBD. She tells people she has IBD, and then her husband, he has chronic constipation. So he was just sitting on the toilet for a very long time because the doctors tell him, oh, you shouldn't force anything out. So he's just swiping on his phone. So she's texting him because she feels there's IBD that's coming on, irritable bowel disease. For her, it's just diarrhea, right? So anyway, it was really nasty. She had to go in an Amazon box, while her husband was just sitting on the toilet. I want to relate this back into your plumbing system. Well, let's finish this first. So over here, this is called colon hydrotherapy. You're laying down on this apparatus, and the colon hydrotherapist, they're putting in hot water through your back end. Not exaggeration. This temperature is going to be about the same as your body temperature. It's just going to try to loosen up this dead and waste material and get it out of the body. You guys can look up these videos online. There are many of them on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and just don't be eating when you're watching these videos because it's very disgusting. It's not, you're going to see a whole bunch of things come out, okay, and not just fecal matter. Now, if the person is very, very chronically constipated, if the colon hydrotherapist is not experienced and they're putting in that water pressure too quick, then the colon may burst. So that's the risk. There's always risk when you're doing any type of medical procedure. Now, I also wanted to relate it back to plumbing. I wanted to relate your digestive system back to plumbing because it's so similar. Now, if you are having a problem with your garbage disposal, well, you're going to have to find some way to fix it, or you fix it yourself, because if the garbage disposal is broken, it's going to smell, okay? All that trash is going to begin to rot. Your whole house is going to start to stink up until you decide to fix it. Now, the body works like a plumbing system. Everything goes in, must go out, okay? Now, if you have anything that is blocked, let's just say your toilet water, right? It is not properly going through your sewage system, your sanitary sewer system. Your house is going to stink up like poop. And a lot of people have that. People, they may have bad breath, okay? Or people that have the worst smelling farts. That's all a result of chronic constipation. Do not ignore these signs. Or people that have the worst body odor because they cannot get the waste material out of their body. They got trash stuck in their colon, okay? And that inflammation begins to build up in their small intestines because it's just a very long piece of pipework. Think about your digestive system like plumbing. It's a very long piece of pipework, and you need to find a way to clean out this pipework comprehensively on a regular basis. And I've been doing this week in and week out over the past 5 years, since 2019. And I'm going to show you how to clean it out. And I'm not talking about a colon hydrotherapy or any type of enema. You might find a lot of videos online, people telling you to do a coffee enema, water enema. I'm not about that. This is a soft flush protocol, and I'll show you how to make it and how to drink it. These are the ingredients that you need. You got apple cider vinegar. You want to get ones without sugar. Now you're going to buy some citrus fruits. You can use limes, lemons, or grapefruit. I've used grapefruits the last few years. I think they're the best tasting. Now you can also use, then you got to add some type of salt. This is pink salt. Now that you can also use food grade Epsom salt and a little bit of black coffee. That's completely optional. You want to get yourself a stainless steel thermos with a volume over 1 liter. Okay, you want to use everything stainless steel or any type of material that will not break. So you got the stainless steel thermos. This is the stainless steel cup for your coffee. This is optional. If you don't want to drink coffee, that's perfectly fine. And you have water, bottled water right here. That's about 2 liters in volume. This is how you're going to prepare the soft flush protocol. Okay, so the night before, you want to finish dinner around 7:30, and you're not eating any late night snacks. You can still drink liquids and water, but don't eat anything. Next morning, same thing. Wake in the morning, what you want to do is just wake up. You may have some liquids, but do not eat any breakfast. At 11 a.m., you're going to make this in the stainless steel thermos. You're going to add 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons of pink salt or Epsom salt into your stainless steel thermos. You're going to cut and squeeze 3 lemons or limes, or use 1 grapefruit. You're just extracting the juices only, so you can use a metal mesh strainer, filter out the seeds and the pulp, filter it out so you only have the juice. Next, you're going to add a 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar, put it in a stainless steel thermos, add 2.5 cups of water, roughly 600 ml of hot water, stir it up. You want to make sure all that salt dissolves evenly in this hot water. Okay, you can stir for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Then you got to add another cup of room temperature water to bring this solution temperature back down. Now it's going to be hot. It's not going to be burning, or if it's too hot, don't drink it. You want to gradually let this cool down a little bit, but it's not going to be a cool solution. It's not going to be room temperature. It's going to be higher. It's going to have some heat to it because I want it to help clean out the small and large intestines, because temperature, how it works, like cold contracts, heat expands. Okay, what's my goal? My goal is to drink this down in a safe way, so this solution can begin to work its way through the small and large intestines and clean it out and clean everything through. Now I'm going to show you guys how to drink this nice and slow. Okay, so on your table there are only 3 things. You have bottled water, you have the soft flush solution that you just prepared, and the black coffee. And these are the directions. You want to take a tiny sip of this bottled water, hold it in your mouth, and take a bigger gulp of the soft flush solution and drink it down. And you can sip on that black coffee, optional, kind of motivate you to repeat this process. Because when you first start doing this, it's going to taste awful. You do not want to do this. And I'm just showing you guys how to drink this down and slowly. And before you do all this, you want to just be relaxed, be as relaxed as possible. Get some classical music playing, maybe some Rachmaninoff, Piano Concerto 2, Movement 2. Put that on repeat. Deep breathing, the more relaxed you are doing this, the better. And don't have that whole bunch of expectations. Sometimes you can even distract your mind, watching something funny, something relaxing on YouTube as you're drinking this. So it's a small sip of this bottled water, hold it in your mouth, take a bigger gulp of the soft flush solution, drinking down, sip on black coffee. Okay, and over time, you're gonna have this unction to go use the bathroom. All right, we got some poop milestones coming out at you. The solids are going to first time coming out, because once you drink the solution down, you got to be relaxed. As you relax, the pyloric sphincters is going to open up, and the solution is going to start to go through your small intestine and start to clean it out. And it's going to start pushing all that waste material over time into your large intestine, beginning on your right side. This is the ascending portion. And this is where you're going to start to feel, oh, I'm going to use the bathroom. Poop milestones, solids are going to come out. And later on, you're going to realize that, hey, it's getting softer and softer and softer and softer. Now, when it gets really, really soft, like water bursting out, I want you to keep on drinking this water. Your goal is to finish the salt flush solution first. Don't drink that much extra water, which will dilute the salt flush solution. That's a mistake a lot of people make. I've taught this particular protocol and this particular way of drinking it to hundreds of people. A lot of first-timers are very successful if they were to follow these directions to the T. Because if you were to drink down both the salt flush solution and this water, it's going to be way too, you're going to feel very uncomfortable. There's way too much liquid. So I'm talking about 3 liters of liquid. So you're only drinking a tiny sip of this water, kind of recoat your teeth and also your tongue. So when you put down the salt flush solution, it's not going to be that bad tasting. If it's that bad tasting, I highly recommend just buying a stainless steel straw and you can drink this down, which will help avert the taste. The goal is to put this down into your stomach and just be relaxed. Deep breathing, and you can see your stomach up and down. Okay. When that laxative effects begins to happen, I want you to take that opportunity to drink more of this water, which will add more water pressure into this digestive tract. When what is your digestive tract? It's just a very long piece of pipework. We're drinking it down, okay, cleaning it through, and when it begins to blast out that nastiness, add more water pressure to this pipework so you can actually experience something called a diarrhea tsunami. This is not exaggeration, not hyperbole. Most people, when they first watch me do this presentation, they don't believe this is going to happen. Well, I'm making a believer out of them after their first try. Okay, if they were to follow these directions to the T. That's why I tell people you can't eat anything after 7:30. And in the morning, you cannot eat any breakfast, because if you eat, that means there's going to be obstructions in your small intestine. And even if you take the salt flush solution, it's going to have a tough time pushing through. Remember what I talked about in the beginning of this presentation? It is 20 feet or 6 meters. Okay? And this is how you clean up the small and large intestines combined. Earlier in this presentation, we talked about all these different problems you could have with your digestive tract. Diverticulitis, colitis, Crohn's disease. I mean, there are so many other ones. You know, people experiencing hemorrhoids from chronic constipation, anal fissures, blood in the stools. Why don't we look at what is happening right now? When you're young, okay, you don't think that a 2-day constipation is a big deal. I'm telling you, it's a big deal. Because over time, your colon is still stacking that waste material. You do not have a complete exit of that waste material, and that fecal matter is going to harden over time. And year over year, it's going to be more of that layering on of that fecal matter. And some people, before they're 30 years old, they may have to do the surgery. This is a complete, how do I say, they remove their colon completely. This is a complete removal of the colon. Now, there's a whole bunch of other complications, because now they're going to have a bag attached to their body. So they have to clean out the bag. Listen, maybe I'll do that in a separate presentation later. Protect your gut, okay? So after I do this, I just relax and I take some probiotics. You don't have to buy the most expensive probiotics out there. You just have to find one that works for you. The one that I use right now is probably the cheapest one that is out there. But for me, that's what works for me. You need to find that works for you, and you need to recoat back up your digestive system. Okay? So when you start eating food again, you'll have an easier time digesting it. Now, I also want to bring some awareness to other problems you may have with your digestive system. Different parasites may be causing that chronic constipation or that diarrhea or that extra inflammation you're experiencing all up and down your digestive system right now. This is a liver fluke. These are pinworms. These are tapeworms. These are roundworms. Now, I have a whole separate presentation on that as well. You guys can check out on my channel. I go through each one of these parasites and their life cycles. But that's a whole separate topic people do not look into when they're just talking about, oh, I have digestive problems. I have this itis here. I have that itis there. And I go through all these different specialists and I still can't find the root cause of my problems. Well, I want you guys to look into this. Of course, not professional medical advice, dietitian treatment. You might have to talk to different naturopathic doctors, integrative medicine, find out what is the root cause to my problems right now. What else do we have? You may have gallstones that's trapped in your gallbladder right now, and I also have a separate video on that you guys can look into. Gallbladders are trapped in the gallbladder and they can be released with the proper protocols. On this channel, we're talking about detox. Detox about getting the waste material out of the body. Today, we specifically talked about, okay, how do we get the waste material out of our digestive tract? If you're chronically constipated, there's a lot of waste material trapped here, right? Getting the waste material going from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, so you don't end up with a displaced colon, end up with a megacolon, okay? Later on, if you let these problems sit there long enough, you might be experiencing diverticulitis, okay? So these are people that are over 40 that have it. And I think because of chronic constipation is on the rise, people may be experiencing diverticulitis on the rise in their 30s. I would not be surprised if that's the case. Or people are experiencing ulcerative colitis, inflammation in the colon, okay? Or different types of Crohn's disease, inflammation in the small and large intestines. Thinking about your body, think about it mechanically. That's what we're talking about. You're getting the waste material out of the body. It's just like a plumbing problem in your house. How do you fix your plumbing problem? You got to clean the pipes. If there's any type of obstruction, sometimes kids, they throw toys down the toilet, and now you're just flushing this toilet, and it just overflows on you. It's very similar to chronic constipation. Okay, waste material, and they don't just disappear. Okay, they're gonna extend into different parts of your body. For example, your colon getting bigger and bigger, and maybe even the small intestine getting bigger and bigger, and people experiencing different types of hernia. I would not be surprised that's also connected to waste material not exiting out of the body. So I'm going to check on my different social media real quick. I don't know if anybody's on watching these videos. Maybe they have some questions. If you have any questions regarding this, just leave them in the comments below. Be happy to go through. I got my Facebook, no comments here. And taking a quick look. 3 watching now on my YouTube channel. If you're here on my YouTube, type in your questions. Don't be shy. And we are also on watching. So anybody on my YouTube or Instagram, you can also ask me any questions. We're talking about digestive health, how we can better our health, and I'm just going to check last more. I got a Twitch. I had a Twitch account as well. maximizing my effort. So I just do this one video and I just send it out to these different platforms, trying to increase my footprint, my internet footprint. Recognizing your body has a very, very understandable mechanical component to this, okay? So you got to drain it out, right? So your body kind of works the same. Your body has two ways, many different ways to get the waste material out. Number one, urination, okay? This is kind of like the storm drain that goes out of the house. And you also have these pipes for the sanitary sewer, right, that goes out, and these are bowel movements. And today we talked about colon hydrotherapy, and we also talked about how you can clean out your small and large intestines combined, because there's so much waste material trapped inside your body you cannot even believe. When this material comes out, it is so foul, so nasty smelling, especially the first couple of times, especially maybe the first 5 to 10 times, because there's been so much trash that is trapped inside your small and large intestines. A lot of people don't realize your small intestine has the surface area of a football field. If it has a football field surface area, I mean, that can cover a lot of trash. Microplastics can get trapped inside your small intestines. Just layering it on that trash. And a lot of people, you wonder why they have this bulging belly, okay? Because they may have an inflamed small intestine just completely full of trash and never clean it out. And you're going to have problem nutrient absorption. You can be eating the best organic foods, supplements, whatever. But if your small intestine is completely caked over with trash, it's not going to be able to absorb any of those nutrients. And that's what we're talking about. And we also kind of briefly talked about parasites. You guys have to look into parasites, okay? These are roundworms being extracted from the human body. This is not an animal. Stomach cramps and pain, nausea, weight gain or weight loss, swollen lymph nodes, digestive problems, including unexplained constipation, diarrhea, persistent gas, skin conditions, rashes, eczema, hives, and itching. You know, parasites, they have to poop right inside of you. So all that extra burden your body has to somehow exude all these toxins. And if it's unable to get these waste material out of the body, then it gets recycled back into your system, and more inflammation is going to be seen across your whole body. And I've already done different videos on this, the different life cycles of different parasites. You know, the tapeworm is hermaphrodite. So they continue to survive and replicate inside your body all day, every day. So you got to study different types of herbal blends and also OTC medications that can help you get rid of these parasites. However, there's much more to it, because you can't just take these meds and be like, okay, I'm done. You got to flush them out of your body. As we discussed before, your digestive system is a very long piece of pipework. If you just take these medications, now you have a whole bunch of dead parasites sitting in your digestive tract. How are you going to get rid of them? The way you get rid of them is, one, you can do the colon hydrotherapy. If you're very familiar with the coffee enema, water enema, do that. Or some type of protocol that you drink that's going to create a laxative effect, which will punch out all that nastiness out of this pipework. Now, I had a picture of myself. I don't know if I included it today. Yeah, I think I did. Oh, that was a different photo. So, years ago, this was me, okay? Even though I was going to the gym, very diligent, I had a personal trainer, I still could not get rid of my belly fat, chronic constipation, all bunch of problems, inflammation. Even when I was getting a massage, I experienced tremendous amount of pain. These are all signs of inflammation in the body. Now, After I started cleaning out the small and large intestines on a regular basis, it just got really easier and easier to take good care of my health, and my body just slimmed down naturally. So I do have a program how you can do what I discussed today. Now this program deals with cleaning out the small and large intestines combined. I'll leave it in the link below. And this was me, right? This is me in San Diego years ago. I had this belly fat, could not go away. These buns, they were barely hanging on to dear life, okay? And until I started to clean myself on the inside, my body simply restored itself, okay? I had six-pack abs all year round without even going to the gym. I mean, I do exercise, but right now I'm not killing myself at the gym 1 hour, 2 hours at a time. No, I don't do any of that, no. But I do know how to do proper exercises that can keep myself in really good shape all throughout the year. I don't do that bulking and then, what is that, cutting? I don't do any of that. So I want you guys to really take good care of your health. And we got Hypno Hacker, I don't know who's watching this. If you guys have any questions on this topic, on my Instagram, just put them in the comments, don't be shy. We got 2 people on my YouTube, on my Facebook. Just type in your questions. I just want you. So why did I make this presentation today? I want you guys to think outside the box. There are problems and solutions that are beyond your scope of awareness right now. Okay? And when you're looking at a problem, I don't care if the doctor says, oh, you got Crohn's disease. Doctor says you got ulcerative colitis. Doctor says you got this and that and the third, okay? And you got to be taking these medications such as immunosuppressants, corticosteroids. Well, what is the root cause of these problems? Now, some people, they say, oh, these are just in your genes, okay? This is somehow passed down. Well, that could be that could be a cause, but that is so out of your control, right? You're like, well, this is just in my genes. I have no control over this. What if you start to learn how to get the waste material out of the body, little bit by little bit, and some of you may just begin by getting the trash foods out of your house. That could be a great start. You got to get a heavy-duty trash bag and just start throwing out foods that you should not be eating anyway. And go to the store and start replacing that with healthy foods. Because I can guarantee if you have trash foods in the house, you have boxes of ramen, you have boxes of instant noodles, you're going to eat them up eventually because you're going to get hungry. But what can you do to start replacing your cabinets, your pantry with healthy options? That's what I want you guys to spend your time thinking about, okay? You may not jump into this protocol right away. I'm just showing you guys people are dealing with this day in and day out. And there are other different types of problems with the colon where the colon actually twists upon itself. Colon volvulus. Volvulus occurs when loop of intestine twists around itself and the mesentery that supplies it, causing a bowel obstruction. It's not a pretty sight, guys. So I'm going to show you guys what could happen to some people if they don't start taking good care of their colon health. When you have obstruction on top of obstruction, okay, you don't fix your constipation. If you're 2-day constipated, you need to fix it. Even if you're 1-day constipated, you need to somehow fix it. Constipation will not fix itself. Constipation only progressively gets worse and worse over time until you decide you need to do something about it. And for me, I was probably 2 to 3 days constipated, not even joking, sometimes 4. This is back in 2019. And I tried different medications. and eventually they stop working. It's a horrible experience because every single day you're thinking, am I going to poop today? And if I don't, there's a lot of pressure. When you're constipated, it's going to affect your emotions. You may have more emotional roller coasters ups and down. And you might be a little bit on edge, right? Maybe small little problems, you might amplify them unnecessarily because there's just a lot of toxins trapped inside your body. When you are clean on the inside, you have more mental clarity, you have more emotional stability, and I think that's what we want. We want to have that clarity in mental thinking. I'm a very different person than I was 5 years ago, and I'm very grateful my health continues to improve over time. Okay, and I'm not just stopping here. There's so many levels of health to be unlocked. I'm looking forward to the future. In the past, I was not looking forward to the future because my health was not in a good place. When your health's not in a good place, then your mental, then your mindset is at a different place as well. You don't really have that optimism for the future. Let's just say if you're dealing with something that is chronic nasal congestion, something small. But if you have nasal congestion, you're going to have a tough time sleeping at night. You're going to be snoring. And snoring, that may lead to sleep apnea. And you may have whole sorts of other problems. So to fix that, I had to learn what type of foods am I consuming right now. And that may not be helpful, where I just have some type of allergy right now with that food. So I should not be eating it any longer. I had to identify those foods because I've already tried the antihistamines at that time. And you may get a few hours of a relief, but did it really solve the problem? I want you guys to ask better questions. What is the root cause? What are the possible root causes to my problem? You may have a lot of different parasites, and these parasites could be causing food allergies in you. Have you thought about parasites as a potential problem in your system right now? Most people overlook this. Most doctors overlook this. And I think there are a lot of false negatives when people do these parasite cleanses, and that's a whole separate topic in itself. So I want to just spin through my social media, making sure I don't have any questions. Yeah, I'm very thankful for those of you on the call. You want to improve your digestive health, okay? Maybe you are diagnosed with all sorts of inflammation, diverticulitis, colitis, Crohn's, I don't care. Maybe you're dealing with hemorrhoids, okay? You're dealing with anal fissures, you're dealing with hernia, all sorts of different problems. Well, let's just get the waste material out. That's what I'm saying. Why don't we have consistent bowel movements and make it that a very important KPI throughout the day, right? So if you, healthy animals, they usually have a bowel movement right after they eat. You should have the same kind of consistency. After you eat something, you have a bowel movement, okay? Why don't we restore that? Get the waste material out so you can go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. That's the goal. But also recognizing the road ahead is very difficult if you do not fix this. Without getting the waste material out, you could end up with a toxic megacolon. You could end up with a colon that is severely displaced. That colon starts to bend out of shape and goes into different parts of your body. You may experience more inflammation in the form of diverticulitis. Okay, and you may experience ulcerative colitis. You may experience Crohn's disease, and in the future I'm going to add more slides to this because hernia is also connected with stuff like this as well. Okay, and until we start to look at our body mechanically, get the waste material out through some form, maybe you go for the colon hydrotherapy, and you want to be very, very upfront with them. It's like, okay, I've been constipated this many days. Okay, so you gotta get that water pressure very, very gently, because let's just say if you get some type of perforation in this, you might go to the other side. I'm not kidding. There's something called sepsis, right? If you have sepsis, then a sepsis shock, you might die from this. Give me 1 second.哦，没有关系，谢谢谢谢，不好意思。还有这个不是玻璃的，我还以为它是玻璃的。如果是玻璃，我就完蛋了。不会完蛋，不会完蛋。谢谢。So, I'm just gonna go through here. If you guys have any questions, type in your questions. Of course, if you share this with a lot of people, what I've shared today, most people will ignore you, okay? I had to come to a place in my life where I was desperate for answers. I've already tried the different types of meds, okay? And I'm like, none of this stuff is working. I hated how it made me feel, okay? Because a lot of medications that come with different side effects. So you got one side effect, and you might have to take another medication to suppress this side effect. And overall, I'm very grateful because right now I am not on any medications at all. I take full responsibility for my health, which means if there's something wrong with my health, I don't care if something small, any type of discomfort, any type of small condition, I start to ask myself, all right, John, you did this to yourself. How do you fix it? How do you find the root cause to this problem? And you may have to go through a lot of different books. I've gone through hundreds of natural health books. And of course, is everything going to apply? Of course not. But I want to understand more, right? I want to understand how do people in the natural health world look at problems? And how do they fix problems? Well, they usually talk a lot about detox. They used to talk about getting the waste material out of the body, right? They talk about potential parasitic activity, getting the parasites out of the body. What else do they talk about? They talk about, well, there could be gallstones that are trapped in the gallbladder. In addition, you may have intrahepatic stones in the liver, because if you have different parasites that are targeting the liver, you may have something called cysticercosis. Another thing that was not even on my radar screen, like nobody taught me what cysticercosis was. And what's crazy is that there are different types of parasites that could even attack your brain. That's called neurocysticercosis. So much information that is not under present awareness. So I'm interested in information like that. There's so much I do not know, and that frustrates me. So I want to learn as much as I can and apply as much as I can. Gallstones. I've released gallstones 42 times already. So I know quite a bit about this. And I want to go from the world of theory into the world of practical use. A lot of people, they know a lot of information. And especially here in Taiwan, everybody knows something about Chinese medicine. If you talk to enough people, oh, you got to use this herb for this. You got to use that herb for that, okay? But when I just use my eyes and look at their body, it's a complete mess. They're not healthy. They always have problems, this and that and the third. They have edema, swelling of the feet, which means that they have problems with their internal organs, such as their liver or kidneys. They cannot get the waste material out of their body. So what do I need to do right now to get the waste material out? Way before I have any of those symptoms, I'm going to assume I have problems with my liver. I'm going to assume I have problems with my kidneys right now. I'm going to find steps to clean them out. Because I don't want a liver transplant. I don't want to be on the waiting list for a kidney transplant. I don't want to fly anywhere to do any of that. So I got to prepare right now and think in advance. The road ahead is very tough. the road ahead is very difficult for many, many people, you know, and I'm talking about this, knocking on wood, very humbling sharing, because I know for most of my family members, they all passed away from many different chronic diseases. They went to the doctors, they went to Chinese medicine, they did this, that, and the third, everything. Their tables is full of medications, but they just kept getting progressively worse, until they passed away. What type of life is that? And what I realized is, Western medicine, Eastern medicine, very few people talk about detox. There are 4 KPIs you must do every single day. Number 1, urination. Number 2, bowel movements. Number 3, you gotta find a way to sweat. I don't care if you use a sauna, infrared sauna, or if you do some exercises on a regular basis, go for a walk. Find something that's gonna help make you sweat. And the last one is, you don't need to be eating that much. You need to be eating less frequently, and you want to focus on nutritional value. What is nutritional value? How do you define nutritional value? Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But are you angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, in the right way, and for the right purpose? That is not within everyone's power, and it's not easy. That's a quote by Aristotle. When you're thinking about a protocol, is this protocol for the right person, doing it to the right degree, at the right time, in the right way, and for the right purpose? Use that type of mindset going into any type of problems, any type of protocol, herbs, medications that you may be using. And you gotta have these answers for yourself. Some people ask me, well, I got this problem and then that third here. Is this protocol right for me? It's gonna be your call. You're gonna have to make that call for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to be your best proponent. You have to be your best advocate. You know yourself the best. You know you're the one that spends time with you 24/7, 365. And when you go to the doctor, they do not have that much time to even look at you. They talk about maybe 7 to 10 minutes. And before you know it, they're going to write something on their prescription, right? And you're off to the pharmacist. Have they asked you, how are you sleeping right now? Okay. Are you having bowel movements? Are you going to the bathroom regularly? What type of liquids are you putting in your water? Are you drinking water, or are you drinking a whole bunch of beverages, drinking a lot of alcohol? You don't think that's going to have an effect on your overall well-being? When you're not drinking enough liquids, enough water, you're going to be constipated. That's not rocket science. And as years and years that goes on, you doing this, right? You're going to have other problems. I just want to share with you these are the protocols that I've done. Okay, I clean out my small and large intestines on a regular basis. I've been doing it over 5 years. I've been cleaning out my body, ridding it of internal parasites for the last couple of years as well. And since 2023, beginning of 2023, I've been flushing out the gallstones out of my gallbladder. I used to have all sorts of joints pains and aches and pains. Inflammation in my joints. Now they're completely gone. So I think getting the gallstones out of the gallbladder and also intrahepatic stones has a lot to do with it. Because your liver filters blood 24/7 in addition to your kidneys, in addition to your spleen. If I can improve the condition of my liver, my kidneys, then the blood has an easier time flowing through. I'm going to keep that blood viscosity at a low level. Because a lot of people, when their filtering capabilities diminishes, the blood viscosity goes higher and higher and higher. Thinking about this thick sludge that has to go through your whole body. It's going to have a tough time going through, and that's going to raise your blood pressure, hypertension. That's how I think about health. Okay, not just thinking, I have this number here, the doctors tell me, and I got to take a medication to suppress these numbers. How do I get to the root cause and fix it So it would be a thing of the past. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm looking forward to connecting with those of you that are also interested in improving your own personal health. And you've been on this detox journey. And I'm very interested in those of you that are cleaning out your kidneys. That's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. So I can't really share if it's doing anything or not. I'm taking the detox tea, just using different types of herbs. But I'm going to assume, hey, maybe my kidneys are not optimally, they're not doing to the best of their abilities right now. I'm going to improve them right now, okay? And I want to do everything that I can to optimize my organs one by one. Let's go through and check out my comments. For watching, listen, if you're on YouTube, type in your comments. We got people on here watching. I don't know where you're coming from. Okay, today we talked a lot about digestive health. You guys can scroll earlier. I went through the protocol. Now, if you have any specific questions, while I'm still on here, I'll be happy to help you answer. But I'll also include the link to my program. I think is important for those of y'all. And I also do one-on-one consultations. Okay, so just DM me. Because sometimes you're like, this is a lot of information. I don't know how to navigate through this. And I definitely will spend time learning about your current situation and how you can improve. And I may not be the right solution for you, right? And that's perfectly fine. You continue to find information that's going to be helpful for you to improve your own personal health. Okay? And I truly, sincerely wish you all the best of health. I want you to find protocols out there that can clean yourself on the inside. And it's going to be a project. Guys, I've been doing this for years and years and years. It's a natural progression. It's a slow progression. So first I clean up my small and large intestines. That's number one. Next, I started getting rid of my internal parasites. Okay? 3, I started getting rid of the gallstones out of the gallbladder, also intrahepatic stones. And now I'm doing the kidney detox, getting rid of any potential kidney stones out of the kidneys, or even there could be stones in the bladder, anything that is trapped within those pipes. Get them all out. Restore the function of your kidneys. Your kidneys are so powerful and they're so important. Let me show you a video of somebody that's dealing with edema. See, you're pressing down on your foot and you can see that indentation so it doesn't pop back up. And this person's also finding out that when he presses on his thigh area, right? Look, you do not want this to happen. Just watching it one more time. So you're pressing on his foot. You can see this foot is definitely swollen. This is a young guy in his 30s. He's only in his 30s. He's already dealing with a whole bunch of chronic diseases. This shows me that his blood filtering capability, it is compromised. There's a lot of problem with it. And so every year, I'm very excited about the future because I'm learning, I'm also applying. Don't just watch a whole bunch of videos online and then don't take any action. Maybe the first action you need to be doing is just drinking more water, right? I've got this water here, and I don't know if you guys can see, it's kind of dark right now. And there's a little bit of lime in this water, and I just drink this water to help my body keep it alkaline, right? Any type of citrus fruits will be very helpful. Today we cover a lot of material, and I sincerely, all of you, if I don't have any questions here, I'm going to turn it. See, there are people watching this. Yeah, just type in the comments. I know you have questions. Type in the comments what you're dealing with, and then maybe it can help you navigate through the protocols, because I have a lot of protocols. Deals with the small and large intestines, cleaning that out so you don't end up with a megacolon, okay? Of course, I always give you the extreme cases, right? But sometimes a healthy sense of fear will kind of propel you to take action, where you don't end up like this 23-year-old. She's only 23. And look at how displaced her colon. Her colon just went all out of place. Now it's up in her chest. And all that waste material, it's going to have a tough time exiting, right? Because she's walking around throughout the day, and all that waste material has to fight against this gravity. So there's always trying to push up, right? But it's fighting against gravity because her colon is now displaced. A healthy colon should look like this. Ascending portion, transverse, kind of goes sideways, a slight tilt to the upside, and then descend. Okay? That's what we're looking for. If your colon is not in this shape, and you're dealing with maybe a twisting upon itself, then of course your waste material is not going to exit out of the body. Get the waste material out. And even for your pets, if your pet is not using the bathroom, wouldn't you be worried? I mean, I saw this old dog, a couple years ago. I felt so bad for this dog because when the dog is trying to use the bathroom, it's going to do a couple of turns, squat. Couple of turns, squat. Well, nothing was coming out. And that dog just had this biggest frown on his face. Poor dog. Well, a lot of people are dealing with that too. So I want to show you guys, there's something called Squatty Potty. You don't have to buy this, but you need to make it. And we were not meant to use bathroom at a 90-degree angle. So this is some free game I want to share with you guys. And this is very important game because a lot of people don't know this. And I'm going to show you how you can improve upon this as well. So Squatty Potty, what are they selling? They're selling you a stool, a plastic stool. Okay, they're making a lot of money. This convenient sturdy structure is engineered to mirror the angle and efficiency of natural squatting, while allowing for the luxury and comfort of your own toilet. I want to show you guys another thing that you can do. You can lift the toilet seat. Just clean the toilet seat. You can sit right on the toilet without the toilet seat because the toilet seat is going to push on your buttocks and it's going to squeeze. If you want a more of a natural angle, you can sit right on the toilet and you can just make a little stool for yourself, okay? Or you have some shoes, some thick slippers, whatever you do, but that's going to create an angle. We were not meant to use the bathroom at a 90-degree. When people use this 90-degree, they're not getting a proper exit of the number 2. As a result, they're going to have some inflammation right around the anus. And that may turn into hemorrhoids. That may turn into, a lot of parasite infection because pinworms, they love that type of environment where there is just a lot of trash they like to feast on. And that stuff over time, it's going to give you the rectal bleeding, the anal fissures. Anal fissures are What is an anal fissure? Anal fissure is a small tear in the thin, moist tissue that lines the anus. God damn. Guys, I see advertisements for this type of stuff all day, every day. I don't know where you guys are from, but I'm sure the keyword search volume for anal fissures is through the roof. Everything is correlated. If your constipation is just skyrocketing, right? Earlier in this video, we talked about, the reason why this is a big problem over the world, because constipation's keyword search is always up. If that is up, that means anal fissures is up, rectal bleeding is up, diverticulitis is up, colitis is up, Crohn's disease is up. Big problems, and a lot of people, they opt in for surgeries for things like this. Let me show you another problem, anal prolapse. I know, isn't this just disgusting? I want to just put a little healthy dose of fear in you, because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm in 2 days constipated, it's not a problem. I don't care. That's just how my body works. When people are forcing out their poop, this is a prolapsed rectum, okay? Just imagine there's still remnants of poop that is still stuck on here. There are scores and scores of old people that are unable to get a proper number 2, a bowel movement, right? They have that prolapsed rectum. They have tissues stuck inside their ass all day. That's what happens. And if you do not want that, you might be young right now. You're like, that can't happen to me. That can't happen to me. Let me tell you. This happens to many, many people, and they have no way of fixing it. So instead of just being like, oh, that can't happen to me, if you don't fix constipation, this is your future. That is your future. Of course, there are much, much worse photos you guys can find online. Rectal prolapse, colorectal surgeons. It's yes, I want you to see these photos. Yes, 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 because most people ignore this problem until it's too late. I want you guys to have the presence of mind right now. While you're young, I don't care how old you are, you need to fix constipation. Once you fix constipation, when you start doing my protocol, you can't be going back eating the same trash. It just don't work like that. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you go back eating the same trash? It's about lifestyle, okay? Having the right lifestyle in, so you have regular bowel movements, urination, bowel movements, sweat, and then eating less meals, focusing on nutritional value. Those are the important KPIs. I'm just going to spin through my videos, making sure there aren't any comments that I'm missing. Be happy to answer any questions you may have. Don't be shy. How long have I been on here? Over here on my Twitter. Twitter is still on. If you are in Twitter, leave your comments. So what is the conclusion right here? It is my theory, okay? If you properly get the waste material out of your body every single day without fail, predictable bowel movements, you're getting rid of those internal parasites, and then you move on to getting rid of those gallstones out of your gallbladder, cleaning out your kidneys, right? So the liver is really part of your digestive system. The kidney is part of your excretory urinary system. If you can optimize these different symptoms, you can avoid a lot of chronic diseases. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, okay? Of course, there are many different components to this. There's probably 50 other things, but the majors on the majors: get the waste material out, clean out this pipework, produce that laxative effect, this diarrhea tsunami, and it's going to smell horrible, but at least you'll know what I'm talking about is the real deal, okay? And what are some people saying about my protocol? You guys can just go on the bottom of this. I've helped people across the world, in Europe, in the United States, in Asia. So some of these testimonials are in Chinese. So I have so many of these, I don't even have time to put them all on my page, okay? Just people, they are helping. I'm helping people with this protocol, okay? All day, every day. And you guys can find me on Instagram, also So what's my Instagram? My Instagram is the real John Chow. And on this particular account, there's our testimonials, and I think I also put them into a reel format. I got a lot of testimonials, I think, on this highlight. These are just a few of them, okay? So you guys can go through. I share about how they can improve their health using my protocol, which cleans the small and large intestines. Some of them are very, very funny. And what I'm very grateful for, that this protocol has become part of their weekly routine. Some people may do it weekly, some people do it every 2 weeks, but they have the confidence of, hey, I know how to do this protocol. I can clean out my digestive tract very, very safely. Okay, and they feel their body rejuvenated. They have more energy. I get a lot of these testimonials. Very grateful for all of y'all. You know, have the courage, because it takes a little bit of courage, and recognizing that they already has some signs of chronic constipation, and they don't want it to progressively get worse, because it's only going to get progressively worse if you don't take care of it. See, this is me. Took this photo, I think, a couple of months ago. This is me before. This is me now. I'm talking about all year round. Your boy's looking like this. All year round. Okay? Of course, I'm here for one-on-one coaching. If you're interested, just DM me on my Instagram, and we go from there. I want to thank y'all jumping on this call. Doesn't matter if you jump on this call later on. Very grateful for all of you.